ground. Let me start by dealing with this question of the executive order on immigration, because there's a lot of hysteria in this town now about how some people in the Congress are going to react to the president if he decides to issue some form of executive order on immigration, as if this president would be doing something extraordinary. The history, in fact, tells us that since President Eisenhower, every single occupant at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has issued executive orders related to immigration. In fact, there have been 39 such orders from Eisenhower all the way through to President George W. Bush related to the topic and subject matter of immigration. And in fact, if you look at some of the executive orders that were issued by President Ronald Reagan and President George H.W. Bush related to undocumented immigrants from Central America and the need, in their view, to try to keep families together, they were some of the broadest executive orders issued by any president in the area of immigration. Where was the impeachment talk back then? Why are we subjecting this president to such reckless conversations? I thought that we were trying to come together in the aftermath of these elections to see if we can have a productive 114th Congress. Because certainly we know that the 113th Congress was, or is on track, I should say, to go down as the least productive Congress in the history of the Republic. That's quite a designation. I mean, the least productive Congress. And if we go down memory lane and think about some of the highlights, this is a Congress that brought us a reckless, irresponsible government shutdown, costs the economy $24 billion in lost economic productivity, all because of this clinical obsession with the Affordable Care Act. We flirted with a default on our debt for the first time in the nation's history, threatening the full faith and credit of the United States of America. It's a Congress that brought us sequestration, $85 billion in randomly spread out cuts across the government in a way that put hundreds of thousands of jobs in jeopardy. We failed to renew unemployment insurance, leaving millions of Americans on the battlefield of the Great Recession. These are the highlights of the 113th Congress. I don't think that's a record to be proud of as we move forward. So I think we could all benefit from a reduction in the rhetoric and an effort to try and find common ground. If you don't like what the president may do on the issue of immigration, you're going to control the House of Representatives and you're going to control the Senate. Just act. Do something. Stop talking. Fix our broken immigration system. You have the power to do so. And the Senate acted in a bipartisan fashion last year, passing a comprehensive immigration reform bill that was not perfect, but certainly was a good faith attempt to try and address the problem. And there were 52 Democrats, 2 independents, 14 Republicans, if my recollection serves me correctly, that partnered together to pass a bipartisan piece of legislation. And so I'm just hopeful that the House will come together and legitimately try to tackle an issue. And just stop throwing out the word amnesty to apply to everything that you don't like. I mean, in this country's greatest tradition, we've never had dual citizenship. citizenship, and we shouldn't have dual citizenship moving forward. We should just try to find a way to bring these 11 million undocumented people out of the shadows in a fashion that independent economists have said will be beneficial to the American taxpayer and result in dramatic reductions in our nation's deficit. That's immigration reform, and I'm hopeful that we can find some